Jonathan Poneman got handed a demo tape, right, from Jack and Dino, who was working over at Reciprocal Studios.
Yeah.
John thought the tape was awesome. He said, let's check these guys out. So he invited the band to open up for Chemistry Set.
Yeah.
It was a Central Tavern. I remember it was a Sunday night.
Yeah.
The room was empty when the band started. 8 o'clock on a Sunday at the Central Tavern. It's a little bleak. We got to check out the band. We thought Cobain had an amazing voice.
Yeah.
But at that time, the band basically stared at their shoes all night. And frankly, I didn't think they had a lot of good material.
Yeah.
In fact, the first single we put out was a cover. That gives you some indication of how weak their material was at the beginning. Nirvana's second album, which was Nevermind, was originally going to be released on Sub Pop, and we just penciled it in as, we just called it Double Platinum for short, right? Right, as a joke. Actually, we were hoping to sell about 100,000 records, but we thought, hey, let's just call it Double Platinum, because if we click our heels and hold our breath and cross our fingers, maybe it'll actually blow up.
How instrumental was the legendary British disc jockey John Peel in all this stuff?
John Peel was crucial in helping to blow up the Seattle scene. Sub Pop had released a compilation called Sub Pop 200.
Ah, yes.
Right around Christmas of '88. Instead of putting out a compilation album, we thought we'd put out a 3 EP box set with huge booklet of Charles Peterson photos. Anyway, it was a grandiose statement on our part. John Peel got a hold of it. He wrote an article in the London Observer, 2 million readers, and he said that Seattle and Sub Pop had the most distinctive regional sound since Tamla Motown of Detroit, which was a huge accolade. And he wrote that a month before Jerry came out to Seattle in March. So that he really got the ball rolling. He was playing our stuff pretty heavily.
But not entirely true, because you guys were kind of modeling Sub Pop off of a lot of indie labels at the time that did have a distinctive sound, like SST and Touch and Go and whatnot.
Well, I really think that SST had a distinctive vibe for sure. That had more to do, I think, with the artwork of Raymond Pettibone that graced most of the covers. But I would say there was a broader difference between the bands like the Minutemen, Black Flag, and Husker Du than, let's say, Nirvana and Mudhoney. I think funneling the bands through Jack and Dino's production kind of gave all the groups a similar flavor. They were all kind of channeling Iggy Pop on one level or another, and then throwing the Charles Peterson photos on the front. I think we dialed in a vibe that was a little stronger than our competitors.
You put a lot of oldie bands on your cassettes when you started putting them out.
So those early Sub Pop tapes, what I did is I gathered demos from around the country, put them together on one compilation, and then had them distributed internationally. And this was pre-internet, so getting hold of demos by bands was kind of challenging, just to hear what local bands around the country were doing.
All done on cassette back then.
That's right, DIY.